There's a couple of things that are really important for bringing together a long-term perspective for your business. And this is probably the key skill for founders, for visionary entrepreneurs. Key skill is long-term perspective. And there's a couple of things to actually then define that into a strategy or a vision. And first up, you need to exercise 10x thinking. And so that 10x thinking is like, okay, what does my business look like if it was 10 times the size that it was now? And what that really does is it helps us to think outside the box, not just of incremental improvements, but of potential fundamental spiritual questions about the business and about what it needs to look like once it's at a mature stage or a scaled up stage. I have to ask that question for IT Genius. Okay, I've got 50 staff now. What does 10x look like for IT Genius? Is that going to be 500 staff? How will we manage 500 people? Would we be able to keep our service delivery the same with 500 people? How many lines of reporting would we need? Can we even deliver with that many people? Or can we find that many people that want to be Google Workspace technicians? They're the kind of like fundamental questions that you start asking yourself when you expand to that kind of thinking. Next up is, rather than trying to imagine what your business has to look like on a practical level, also look at, there's this quote, skate to where the puck is going, not where it is now, which is a hockey quote. What I like to do is to look at the market shifts and the market dynamics that are happening over the next 5 to 10 years, not just the next 2 to 3 years, the next 5 to 10 years, and then align my business to those. We've got shared resources, networks, shared assets, electrification of vehicles. You know, there's like macroeconomic trends like travel and labor and stuff like that changing. What are like the macro trends over the next 5 to 10 years? That coupled with 10x thinking should give your visionary muscle a little bit of like flex and tension. And that should then drip down into, okay, where strategically can the business be placed to skate to where the puck is going? That discipline of thinking like that and continuing to think like, all right, what's 5, 10 years ahead? What's 5, 10 years ahead? What's 5, 10 years ahead is what will help you to position your business really, really well so that you're what's called a market maker, which means that you effectively don't have competitors. Or if you do have competitors, they're so far behind you, they just basically can't really keep up, can't really compete. This is like 10 years ago that would just run their whole business on Dropbox. Google Drive hadn't even been released. They run their whole business on Dropbox and they were like, nah, I don't want to buy a server. And we're like flogging $20,000 servers at the time. And I was like, holy shit. All of these consumerized services are going to start to bleed their way into businesses, and business owners will no longer need to invest in heavy infrastructure anymore for their businesses. And I had the opportunity to either embrace that or do what the rest of the IT industry did and, you know, fear, uncertainty, doubt, oh, the cloud is bad, Google's evil, blah, 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 right? They all lost. We ended up winning because we made that shift to be like, okay, cool, well, we'll design our whole business around the consumerization of technology, knowing that it's going to become so easy that business owners will try and do it themselves, but then fail and they'll need a helping hand. And that basically has underpinned the strategy of IT Genius, and we've done very well with that. I'd just invite you to expand your vision and think, okay, well, how might this business work on a national level? To me, exciting for you to consider as you then look at, okay, where might you position the business and where might you take it? And then write all those things down, because that they are BHAGs, the big, hairy, audacious goals for you to say, okay, well, you know, in 10 years, we're going to be a national business and we're going to be doing 5 million a year in revenue, and we're going to have this many assets under, you know, management on our books, and this is how many bookings per year we're going to do. They're your BHAGs for you to define alongside your vision.